So how exactly does one man go from losing absolutely everything to systematically hunting down and defeating a super-powered half-human tiger? I mean, it sounds like pure myth, right? But today, we're going to treat this as exactly what it is, a literal masterclass in extreme problem solving.
Welcome to The Explainer. I am super thrilled to walk you through this one because, honestly, it's an extraordinary narrative. Today we're looking at a meticulously documented chronological case study of vengeance, relentless R&D, and some major tactical escalation. We'll be analyzing the primary source material that details the rise of a figure known simply as Tiger Man, breaking down his wild journey from a grieving son to a heavily armed, supernaturally enhanced operative.
To make sense of this rapidly escalating timeline, we're going to follow a pretty strict framework today. 1. Tragedy and the Vow. 2. The iterative suit designs. 3. The Magic Forest encounter. 4. Ascension of Tiger Man. 5. Arsenal and the Hunt. And finally 6. The final confrontation. Okay, let's dive right into part 1, Tragedy and the Vow, the catalyst for vengeance. You see, every rigorous operation needs an inciting incident, right? A catalyst that just flips the paradigm. Our protagonist starts off living a quiet, albeit pretty sad, life at home with his father.
And that sadness comes from a foundational trauma. His mother tragically died in a forest filled with wild animals. But here's where passive grief turns into active preparation. It happens the exact moment a crucial piece of actionable intelligence drops. A bodyguard reveals the truth. A specific tiger killed his mother. This completely changes the operational landscape. The enemy isn't just a random act of nature anymore. It's a specific, targeted entity. So, upon getting this intel, he doesn't just mourn. He makes a definitive, zero-sum vow, or I will kill the tiger. The gravity here is absolutely intense. He formulates a plan immediately. And get this, he doesn't just want to kill the beast, he wants to construct a suit out of scraps that looks exactly like the tiger. He's literally using psychological warfare right out of the gate.
Moving on to part 2, the iterative suit designs, engineering and failure. This is where we see him apply a grueling, uncompromising scientific method to his whole quest for vengeance.
Charting his development phase shows the sheer immense perseverance required to keep his operational focus over 200 days of constant trial and error. Look at this timeline. By day 10, his first suit suffers a catastrophic atmospheric failure. By day 20, his second iteration totally collapses structurally. It actually isn't until day 35 that the project pivots entirely, leading to unexpected public heroism by day 50 and massive arms manufacturing by day 200. Let's break down those early failures, shall we?
The brutal reality of his early R&D phase is crystal clear. Suit 1, built purely from scrap material, gets put through an immediate flight test. He takes to the sky, but, well, the engineering simply wasn't there. The suit breaks down and literally freezes midair. An undeniable failure. But he doesn't quit. For Suit 2, he realizes scrap just isn't viable. So he makes a massive economic sacrifice. He sells every costly item he owns for dollars just to buy a giant box of metals. He spends days and nights building Suit 2, tests its combat capabilities, and it breaks entirely while fighting. So now he's financially ruined and physically right back at square one.
Which brings us to part 3, the Magic Forest encounter, a supernatural shift. It's right here, on day 35, that his meticulous hardware engineering unexpectedly collides with the supernatural. While venturing into the forest, presumably to gather more intel or materials, he falls into a trap. But you know what? This tactical blunder turns into the ultimate strategic advantage. Down in this trap, he meets an aging, talking tiger. And because this tiger is growing old, it makes a remarkable decision. It transfers its magical powers directly to our protagonist.
This brilliantly illustrates the ultimate turning point of our whole case study. His mundane engineering failed because it was bound by the physical limits of scrap and raw metal. But Suit 3, constructed the very next day, integrates his newly acquired supernatural abilities. The operational success is instant and flawless. The hardware and the magic are finally perfectly aligned. Which propels us right into part 4, Ascension of Tiger Man, Public Heroics. On day 50, the whole scope of his mission dramatically scales up. He's not just a man seeking personal revenge anymore, he actually becomes a massive asset to public safety.
With his newly functioning Suit 3, he conducts a high-altitude test flight. And while up in the sky, he encounters a monster. Now, he doesn't retreat, he engages and completely neutralizes the threat. The source material points out the astonishing collateral good of this flight. By killing the sky monster, he successfully saves exactly 200 people.
200!
It's because of this specific heroic detour that the public acknowledges his existence and officially bestows upon him a legendary moniker, Tiger Man. This public validation has to be a fascinating psychological boost, really cementing his identity right before he completely pivots his focus back to his primary objective, assassinating the specific tiger that killed his mom.
Now, it's absolutely crucial to understand exactly what Tiger Man is about to go up against. Our source defines the target not as some standard apex predator, but as half-human. This is an entity possessing its own superpowers, far beyond a normal animal. This elevates the stakes of the impending battle from a simple hunt to a literal clash of supernaturally enhanced titans.
So we enter Part 5, Arsenal and the Hunt. Tactical escalation. We're jumping ahead in the timeline to day 200. Tiger Man realizes that magic and a suit alone probably won't guarantee a 100% success rate against a half-human target. He needs a sudden, extreme escalation in his combat loadout.
The source text explicitly details the manufacturing of what it classifies as his Weegoons. Yes, Weegoons. This arsenal is just staggering in its firepower. He arms himself with a minigun, an AK-47, a handgun, and a Desert Eagle. The sheer weight and logistics of carrying this specialized loadout into a dense forest environment really speaks volumes about his uncompromising commitment to overwhelming force.
Equipped with his suit, his magic, and his Weegoons, Tiger Man finally begins the hunt. The tracking phase was agonizingly long. It literally required 1 full month of non-stop running through various forests just to pinpoint the half-human tiger's hidden stronghold. The endurance required for a month-long, high-speed recon mission under the weight of all that heavy artillery is, quite frankly, almost incomprehensible. And finally, we reach Part 6, the final confrontation, execution of the plan. The climax of this explainer. The exact moment where 200 days of engineering, magical integration, and tactical planning are put to the ultimate test. Tiger Man's execution of the takedown is a flawless 4-step tactical sequence. Step 1, the grueling 1-month location phase, is complete. He immediately engages the target. Step 2 shows his incredible ability to adapt on the fly. While actively fighting this superpowered entity, he simultaneously sets traps mid-combat to control the battlefield. Step 3 is the real turning point, leading to Step 4, the ultimate defeat of the entity. But let's look a bit closer at Step 3, because it is an absolute stroke of tactical genius.
Amidst all the chaos of gunfire, magic, and mid-combat trapping, Tiger Man makes a brilliant strategic observation. He notices that the half-human tiger's superpowers aren't strictly biological. Nope, they are physically anchored to a tangible chain worn by the beast. Recognizing this huge vulnerability, Tiger Man immediately shifts his targeting priority. He strikes the chain fast, breaking it entirely, and instantly neutralizing the enemy's supernatural advantage.
Stripped of its power, outgunned, and totally outmaneuvered, the half-human tiger is finally defeated. And as it dies, the source material leaves us with the target's shockingly understated final words. Looking up at the heavily armed man who spent over 200 days engineering its demise, the entity simply states, "Very, very sorry." I mean, it's a deeply absurd, almost bureaucratic apology for a foundational trauma, but it definitively closes the loop on Tiger Man's relentless crusade.
Which brings us to the ultimate takeaway from this incredibly intense timeline. We've watched a subject go from scrap metal failures to sky-high heroics to the flawless execution of a highly armed vengeance operation. So I leave you with this final thought. If Tiger Man can weaponize his grief, endure months of R&D failure, master magic tiger powers, and carry an entire arsenal into the forest to achieve his goals, what could you achieve in your own life with just a little iterative perseverance? Thank you so much for walking through this explanation with me. Keep analyzing, keep iterating, and never, ever underestimate the power of a well-executed plan.